Hey there, I'm Tyler Lunsford, and you're watching a review of Seth Race and Abstract Effects Keynote. What is up, you people? My name is Tyler Lunsford, and welcome back to another magic trick review here on the channel. Now, if you're new, then definitely please consider subscribing and take a look around the channel at my past reviews. Now, if you aren't here, then welcome. Thank you for stopping by and spend some time with me today. I really do appreciate it, so thank you so much for that. I'm glad you're here, and thank you for clicking on my face because you didn't have to, but I'm super glad you did, and I hope you learned something about Keynote, a really cool borrowed key through borrowed bill, and I will be doing a performance video later on my Instagram, and I'll post it as like YouTube Shorts or something later, so expect that in the next week if you want to see a full performance of me doing it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this video of Keynote right now. One quick thing before we get started, if you'd like to help support the channel, I would love it. It would absolutely mean the world to me. You can do that on my website, tylerlunsford.com. The merchandise section there, it's free worldwide shipping, so pick up a shirt or a hat or both or 20 of each. I'll ship them to you for free, worldwide. Don't care where you live in the world. And if you want to support me on Patreon and get some cool benefits that way, you can absolutely become a patron, and you'll get some even cooler benefits in the next coming weeks. So go ahead and sign up there so that way you don't miss out on those. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into this review of Keynote, and I actually mean it this time, right now. First off, you need to know what actually is Keynote. Well, Keynote is a really cool effect from the creative mind of Seth Race, where you're going to be putting a borrowed object through a borrowed bill. That borrowed object is a key. Keynote is a key through bill which can work with most borrowed keys and visually melt and pierce through a borrowed signed bill. That's right in front of your spectator's eyes. A few important things to remember about Keynote: it's ready to use out of the box. There's no DIY or arts and crafts, no magnets. The bill can be borrowed and signed. Hand the key out for examination and hand the bill out for examination immediately afterwards. Works with most borrowed keys. It's easy to do and works with any bill, whether it's paper or plastic. Let's talk about what you'll be receiving if you decide to purchase it. Well, you'll be getting the gimmick itself, and you'll also be getting a key that you can use to practice with this gimmick that you receive. The only thing you have to supply is a bill, so supply either a dollar bill or a plastic bill, a US bill. It really does not matter what the bill is, it will work with this effect. You'll also be getting access to a tutorial video online where the other brothers are going to walk you through how to do this actual key through bill, and they're going to teach you multiple ways to do it with some multiple handlings and multiple presentation ideas. Now that you know what Keynote is and you know what you'll be receiving, let's talk about some more questions you may have. So just how difficult is it to perform? Keynote is not that difficult to do, but it is going to take some practice. Once you have practiced this, I'd say for a couple hours, just sitting around messing with this gimmick, grabbing the key. Use the key that they supply so that you don't have to grab anything else. Just use that key, grab a bill, and you can go into it and start performing right away and practicing. It's super easy to do once you get the hang of it. And I know that sounds like, oh wow, Tyler, that's self-explanatory. But no, in all seriousness, it really is easy to do once you get the basic idea of the handling down. So let's say you practice this for a few hours, then you should be able to do it with ease once you understand the actual move that you're doing. How are the angles for Keynote? The angles are alright. You can't have people behind you when you're performing Keynote, but you can have people in front of you, and you can have them a little bit to the sides of you. And what I mean by this is you can have them see that the key is going through the bill. Now, when you have the bill and it has the little fold, because you folded your bill in half, they cannot look inside the fold when you're doing this effect. Is Keynote examinable? Absolutely. I mentioned it earlier, but you are borrowing these items, or you can. You don't have to, but you can, and why wouldn't you? If you can, automatically utilize that ability of you being able to borrow these items. That way they don't think there's any gimmickry involved at all. So you can borrow a dollar bill from them, borrow a key, let's say it's their house key, and you just start pushing this key through their bill, and then you hand it out immediately afterwards. Yes, it's examinable. Both parts are examinable, the key and the bill. Is there a setup when it comes to performing Keynote? The setup happens during the performance because since you're borrowing both of these objects, you're going to be setting up the effect while you've started the routine. Once you ask to borrow an object, you then begin your setup, and it's not hard to do. You do it in front of their eyes, and they only know what you're doing. As long as you have the gimmick on you, you can do this effect as long as you borrow those two objects and you have the gimmick with you. If you're curious on what the key looks like that you get included in your package, this is what it looks like right here. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can. This is what you get. You get this key. It looks like a house key. It says Baldwin on it. And that is the key that you receive with your package. Are there any negatives about performing Keynote? One negative is the price. This is $40, and I definitely don't think it should be more than $40. I think $40 is kind of like on the fence where you're kind of teetering on the overpriced side of the fence. But with that said, I think it should be probably about $35, but I don't think it should be any more than $40. So $40, okay price, but I do think it should have been just a little bit cheaper. Another negative, the angles. This is a trick that you have to do with your audience in front of you, and they can't be behind you, and they can be to the sides of you to an extent, kind of, because they can't look inside the fold of the bill, but as long as they're in front of you and watching this, you shouldn't have any issues. But it is a slight negative because I would love to be able to show this on like more than just in front of me. One of the positives about Keynote, I love that this is done with borrowed items. This is a borrowed key through borrowed bill, and that's absolutely honest. You can borrow a key, and they do mention in the ad copy, so I appreciate the honesty, it works with most keys. So they do include your key, which I showed you over here earlier. This is the key they include. The gimmick perfectly matches this key in color, so that way you can practice with it if you're gonna do it on social media or anything like that. You want it to match perfectly. This is the key you're gonna use. If you're doing this out in the real world with, you know, some light just coming in from the sun or just a room or anything like that, people are not going to realize the gimmick that you're using is not quite the same as the key that you're using, because the key is borrowed at that point. Another thing I like is the handling, where the key just drops out of the bill and then the bill is immediately handed out. It looks very clean and it doesn't even look like you're using a gimmick, so you can just immediately hand those items out, and I really do like that handling. Another thing, this is fantastic right here. I love the tutorial video. Now, when I review magic products, this is something that I look at. I try to look at the product as a whole. I'm reviewing a magic trick, but also a magic product. Let me just say here, Abstract Effects has knocked it out of the park with their tutorial video. In the past, they've had some issues as far as just using one camera shot, like just one camera angle looking straight on at them, or maybe they're not well mic'd and you can't hear them too well, which usually that hasn't been much of an issue, but the camera angles definitely has been, and the camera quality usually is pretty good. But for this tutorial video, they explained everything well in about 35 minutes. The camera quality is exceptional. It's wonderful. Another thing, they include multiple angles this time. They show an over-the-shoulder shot of what you see when you're doing this effect. So you see what your audience sees when they perform it to you and they show you how it works, but then they also show you another view where this is what the magician sees when they're doing the penetration of the key through the bill. I love it. Abstract Effects, you knocked it out of the park with this tutorial video. Keep it up. Keep doing multiple camera angles, please. It is so helpful. Loved every second of this tutorial video. What's this retail as? Well, currently tells us $40 US, and is that a fair price? I mentioned this earlier in the negatives. I think it should be just a little bit cheaper, like $35, just because $40 is kind of on the fence of being overpriced. Any more than that, I'd say this is definitely overpriced. But for the effect, what you can do with it, I think it's really cool. And $35 would be a better price. $40, you're kind of on the fence. Do what you want to with that information. What would I give this out of 10? I'm going to give this a 9.5 out of 10. The reason it's getting that score is because this is a really solid effect. The fact that you can borrow both items, hand them back out afterwards, or even if you don't borrow the items, you don't want to borrow someone's key or someone's money, you can do this with your own money and your own keys that you're using and the key that they supply. So this effect, you can use that and then use one of your bills and then go right into it and still hand everything out afterwards for examination, which I love. I love the examinability option. One thing I don't like is the angles, so I knocked it at half a point for that. But besides that, and I also kind of knocked it a little bit, including that half a point for the price. But with all that, I think it's a really cool effect. Seth Race, really creative mind, really cool dude. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. I hope you learned something about Keynote by watching this. If you did, then definitely let me know down in the comments below, so that way I know how to improve my videos, or if this video was good for you, what you learned, or anything like that. I would love to hear your feedback. The point of these videos is to inform you about magic, so that way you can invest the money that you work hard for in the right areas. You want to invest in the right props, the right tricks, the right whatever it may be, the right gimmick supplies, the right gimmick building tool. I want to make you a better magician as far as where to spend your money. Where do you spend your money? How do you be a better magician with the $10 or the $50 that you have? That's what I want to do. I want to help you out. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope that's what you get from this. I'd like to thank Seth Race and Abstract Effects for allowing me to have this product, so I can do this for you, few people out there. And if you'd like to follow me on Instagram, you absolutely can do so at Magic. You can also follow Abstract Effects on Instagram and Seth Race on Instagram. Their links will be down below in the description. Once again, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in another review that I post sometime soon. See ya. Also, maybe you don't think this is cool, but if you're still watching after the outro, I'm just going to show you anyways. If you pull apart the packaging down here at the bottom, there's actually a secret message. And by secret message, I mean the Abstract Effects logo. Just wanted to point it out if you're still here. So if you do have this, open up the bottom and look in there and see the Abstract Effects logo. I'll let you see it for yourself. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you got something from it. If you have any questions at all, comment them down below and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. The point of these reviews is to help you bake? Should I start a baking channel? You know what? I'm gonna do it. There's gonna be a Tyler Lunsford channel coming up sometime in the next year. And it's gonna be about cooking, baking, and any other thing I want to put on there. Probably some magic too, and just random videos. But yeah, let's do that. Let's make a Tyler Lunsford channel. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I don't know. What do you think?